Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today. Today, we're looking into a really interesting idea, learning English in a way that might feel less like, hitting the books and more, well, more engaging.
hmm
We're exploring this thing called comprehensible input. It's positioned as maybe a potential shortcut to fluency.
Yeah, and the source material we looked at is from a discussion about this very topic. It really suggests it could be a bit of a game changer compared to the, let's say, the usual grind.
Right, the usual methods.
Exactly. And it jumps right into acknowledging something pretty key. To really get spoken English, you actually need a lot of words. They mention around 3,000 for like basic daily conversation.
Wow, 3,000, that's quite a hurdle.
It is. And then it touches on those familiar pain points, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like scrolling endlessly through online tutors or those vocabulary lists that just evaporate from your brain.
Oh, tell me about it. And the classroom hours that sometimes feel like they're just dragging on forever.
Precisely. So that's what this comprehensible input idea slots in.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. The core concept, as the source lays it out, is basically that we learn language best when we actually understand the messages, the input.
Yeah. And they give this really simple, clear example. Someone just walking around pointing and naming things. Door, shoes, dog, grass, trees.
Car, pond, just everyday stuff.
Right. And what's powerful there is it shows how you can grasp the meaning even without knowing every single word. You've got visuals, you've got the context.
Repetition, maybe?
Exactly. Repetition helps too. Your brain just sort of pieces it together naturally. It's making connections.
So it's learning through that kind of natural exposure, almost like how we picked up our first language as kids rather than, memorizing grammar tables.
That's the idea. Less explicit instruction, more absorption through understanding. And the source is pretty positive about the benefits.
Yeah, it says you're not just building vocabulary this way, it's also pronunciation, listening skills.
Grammar, sentence structure.
And crucially, starting to actually think in English, which is a big goal for many learners.
And it really taps into something fundamental about how we learn initially, right? Think about kids surrounded by language. They aren't given grammar lessons first.
No, definitely not.
They hear words, phrases, all in meaningful situations, and understanding just grows. This approach kind of mimics that immersion.
Right, and the source makes a point of saying this happens without boring lessons in textbooks. I think a lot of people will appreciate that sentiment.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead, they talk about using things like real-life vlogs.
Travel vlogs, adventure stuff,
Yeah.
things you might watch anyway.
Exactly. Stuff that delivers this understandable input, but in a way that actually keeps you interested, keeps you hooked.
The goal seems to be making it feel less like study, less like work.
Yeah, more like entertainment, almost. And if it's fun, you're just much more likely to stick with it, right?
Yeah.
And consistency is key for fluency.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, if this natural exposure, this understandable language is the core, how do you actually do it? The source lays out a kind of three-step strategy.
Okay, step one.
Step one is watch these comprehensible input videos, like the vlogs we mentioned.
And it emphasizes actively watching, right? Not just having it on in the background.
Really engage, focus on the meaning.
Yeah.
Maybe try shadowing, repeating words and phrases to practice pronunciation.
And just sort of naturally absorbing how sentences work, how grammar is used in context,
Right.
letting your brain soak it up.
Yeah, letting those patterns sink in. Then, step two brings in a modern twist.
Okay.
It suggests using a specific ChatGPT prompt. It's designed to reinforce what you learned from the videos.
Ah, interesting. So like AI reinforcement.
Pretty much. And it's clever because it can give you personalized support, like it can provide definitions for words you saw,
Oh, cool.
show you how they're used in past, present, future tenses. It could even quiz you a little bit.
Like a little study buddy built in. That sounds really useful.
And it's supposed to be really flexible, too. You can get the explanations just in English or in your native language or a mix of both, whatever works best for you.
That makes sense. Customizable.
Plus, you can just ask it questions if you're confused about something specific you heard in the video, so it clears up doubts.
Got it. Okay, so watch actively, reinforce with AI. What's step three?
Step three is presented as optional, but helpful if you don't get many chances to actually speak English.
Okay.
It involves using SRS, that's spaced repetition software, like Anki, the popular one.
Ah, SRS. For locking vocabulary into long-term memory.
Exactly. It shows you words again just before you're likely to forget them. making them stick better over time.
But if SRS isn't your thing,
Well, the source also suggests you can just do your own review. The main thing is revisiting the material somehow, reinforcing it so it doesn't just fade away.
right, like watering the seeds, as they say, keep it active.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where the source makes a pretty bold claim, I thought.
Yeah.
They suggest that learning this way, through these comprehensible input videos, can be up to 4 times more effective than traditional methods.
4 times. Wow, that's significant.
It is, and they justify it by comparing, say, a 10 or 15-minute vlog to maybe a full hour of classroom time.
Okay, I see the logic. The idea being that when you're engaged and actually understanding, your brain is just acquiring the language much more efficiently, not just rote memorization.
You're absorbing more on different levels simultaneously.
Right. Listening, context, vocabulary, structure, all at once.
And a huge plus point they mention. This whole approach, as they present it, is basically free.
Free is always good.
Yeah. I mean, sure, there's the usual online creator thing asking you to subscribe, share, turn on notifications.
Standard stuff.
And they point you to playlists of older videos and the presenter's Instagram handle, Volca Eagle, if you want more content.
Makes sense. Offer value, build an audience.
So putting it all together, the picture the source paints is, well, pretty encouraging. It suggests fluency really is achievable with consistent effort.
Especially using a method like this that tries to be effective and enjoyable, less like a chore.
Definitely. So to kind of boil it down from this deep dive, the source really champions comprehensible input delivered through engaging real-life content
Strengthened by these AI tools and maybe some spaced repetition.
as potentially a faster and certainly maybe a more enjoyable route to speaking English well compared to some of the older ways.
And that really brings up a point for you listening, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does this whole idea of learning through understanding, through engaging content, resonate with your own experiences?
Yeah, have you ever found you learn something best when you're genuinely interested, when it clicks, rather than just trying to, force feed yourself facts and rules?
It's often true, I think.
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. How could you apply this principle? Seeking out comprehensible input stuff you mostly get, but that also stretches you a bit to learning anything new, not just languages.
Interesting question. Could finding that sweet spot of engaging, understandable content be a key to deeper learning across the board?
Something to consider, definitely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.